I don't care what they say about bow's damage. I've got Savage Omega on skull. I'll perform the perfect ballet of Discerning Dodge 1, Discerning Dodge 2, and Discerning Dodge 3! Oh, fucking... It's one shot, really? Oh, come on, a bee! Hello, my fellow hunters, then, and welcome to Title Update 3, Bow Edition. I will shelve my greatsword for now and pick up my second favourite weapon, and it's something that I just can't stay away from for long. Bow is so purely entertaining. Even if I am regularly scrolling through the patch notes like, please, greatsword, dual blade, slot, switch action. Oh, come on, buff the bow! I still find it so compelling. Chain discerning dodging as you rain bundles of arrows into the target is purely entertaining. And it's an incredibly satisfying weapon against our new friend Omega. So many of his attack chains are so nice and neatly discerning dodgeable over and over. Now, I'm not about to say that I have mastered this fight by any means when it comes to the bow, but I did have a fairly smooth time getting Savage down with support hunters, and I'm really quite pleased with that. Compared to the best sets we were working with in Title Update 2, with Archtempered Duna, with the Talismans, we have got a little bit of an upgrade. Not colossal, at least not in some ways, but an upgrade nonetheless, and that's very nice to see. And as I said, we are very uniquely positioned to take righteous advantage of a new set bonus. Omega Resonance from the armor set unlocked by beating Savage. This is seriously potent. Massive amounts of either affinity or raw, depending on which mode you're on, and the only condition is that you need to be either next to or away from an ally. And bow can do both those things better than most weapons. Bowguns don't want to be on top of an ally, but a bow doesn't mind, and the melee weapons obviously don't want to be away, because that probably means being away from the monster, but again, a bow doesn't mind. So we'll get onto that in a little bit. But for now, let's upgrade our arrow shooterers with some more potent arrow shootings to do. It sounded cooler in my head when I first went to say it. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. As a reminder then, this was your previous best kind of comfy, does what it needs you to do, Title Update 2, and so on, Talismans, etc. build. Weapon-wise, nothing has changed, of course, because there's no new weapons. We use our fire artian or water artian, and select whichever the monster is weaker to, unless it is a thunder weak monster, in which case Legicrus's High Vault Sender is best, and that's kind of your three weapons, and the artian still remains just pure attack. That's as always because of our need to have close range coating on whatever bow we're using, because the damage it gives is just too damn high. This then, to kind of give you the baseline number reminder, came out to a 4-bow, very nice 476 EFR. And a lot of that is because of the counter-strike, which just is going to be up. You're going to get hit, giving it a nice little increase. So are you ready then for the new best Title Update 3 comfy bow build? We've swapped the helmet for Omega! Yeah! Look, I can't lie, we've not had the biggest of upgrades in the world. Bow really needs a little bit of love, and you know, being on the bow side of things now instead of the greatsword side, I kind of get it, you know? It's hard not to be like, oh, okay, really, where's Bow's cool new weapon and improvement? I'm holding on, you know, fingers crossed, because, yeah, an improvement is an improvement at least, right? Totally. In any case, yes, we put, oh god, real talk though, bow really does need a little bit of love. It is on the lower end of the damage spectrum, it's very squishy, it does have a few little holes that it suffers with, like, it's so fun and so easy to not to die most of the time because of discerning dodge, that I think it's easy to kind of paper over the fundamental DPS cracks that it has. But as always, I will be here trying to to do that papering as best as I can with theory crafting until Capcom gives us a helping hand. In any case, before we go over that, talisman-wise, nothing has changed here. Your ideal talisman is going to remain a triple attack, and then more than likely a rank of adrenaline rush, though you can work with agitator, you can work with weakness exploit, that kind of vibe. That said, if you don't have a perfect talisman, and you can just apply this to the builds going forward, you can replace it with 3 ranks of adrenaline rush as just the standard crafted talisman. Because Bo uses it so well, we have essentially 100% uptime, especially solo hunting. This just is plus 20 raw, and that honestly is only the tiniest smidge worse than getting 4 attack plus 1 rank of a level 3 skill, so you really don't have to worry about grinding perfect talismans on Bo, which is quite nice. So yeah, if you don't have as good of a talisman as I do, just use counterattack charm 3 on any of these builds, and you'll pretty much be doing the same amount of damage anyway. So with that said then, yes, here we are. This gives us the same kind of base that you'd expect, the 3 weakness exploit that will fill out, your stamina surge for lovely comfort, and basically I will get in with the decorations. They shake out a little something like this. Your weapons remain the same. You want your element up plus bandolier, your spread and your critical boost in your artian, and then in your ludicrous you want 3 critical boost and then either the spread decoration or the bolt for the thunder attack up and the final rank of tetrad shot, which honestly arguably just is better, so worth swapping over to. Both are fine though depending on your decoration collection. In any case then, yeah, we finish up weakness exploit, we finish up constitution for that lovely stamina management, counter-strike as even at 50% uptime, which is more than fair on Bo, is a nice bit of hefty raw to use our 2 slots on. We've got still gore 2 set with 3 antivirus, because the one thing that Bo really struggles with is just getting affinity. Because we can't take advantage of maximum might, we really suffer on that front. You've basically got weakness exploit for 30%, your artian for 5%, and then you're kind of there on 35% being like, okay, can't use max might, latent power's not great for me, agitator's not that much affinity. So all in all, we're kind of really struggling to break free of gore magala and antivirus. In any case, you might notice that offensively, this is exactly the same as the previous set. What we have gained by swapping to Omega Alpha is more raw defense, which is actually really nice, and a free inbuilt rank of Divine Blessing, which is actually also really nice because it will trigger and it will save you from some attacks. I realize this isn't the most exciting thing, and I actually don't even have any new math to show you because it's just exactly as good as the previous set. So that's that. If you're wanting to play with inbuilt constitution and stamina surge, you want just the simplest, straightforward, comfy bow build in Title Update 3, this is the way. If then you are going up against a Thunder Weak monster, so you'll be using Ludicrous, well then you want to do a little bit of a swap. And that swap is thus. So we drop 3 ranks of Constitution for 3 ranks of Thunder Res to feed the Thunder element on the bow, and get that Bolt Bandolier in. And then we make up for those lost Constitution ranks by eating a custom meal, not a feast, which is a little bit of a shame. We lose out on the extra feast stats, but there's no choice. We need the Constitution ranks, so we have a mushroom meal, which gives us those fake 3 ranks of Constitution back. Essentially, any build that I show you today, and this is important, if Constitution is not level 5, it'll be level 2, and if it's level 2, you need to eat your own custom meal with the mushroom to gain that black belt for the extra ranks of Constitution. Otherwise, you're all good, and you already have 5 Constitution in the build, and then you can have a feast as normal. And just a final note then on this, your kind of standard comfy set and the Ludicrous swap. This talisman here, if you are going for a perfect talisman, I have 1 rank of Agitator, it's the best I can do, but technically a rank of either Weakness Exploit or Adrenaline Rush is the best. That will put our Adrenaline Rush to level 2, whichever one you happen to get. If it's Wex, you just swap a Wex decoration decoration for another adrenaline rush. If it's just adrenaline rush, you're good. Because a second rank of adrenaline rush is better than one rank of agitator, and that's what I've done the maths with. So ideally, this 1 agi 3 attack charm would be a 1 adrenaline 1 weakness exploit 3 attack charm. That's kind of what you're aiming for, but as I keep saying, you're also just completely fine to put on triple adrenaline rush and have it be, well, almost as much damage. So with that done then, let's go on to our new best pure, like, I just want as much damage as possible, I don't care how comfy it is, I'm a god and I'll discerning dodge everything anyway set. And this one actually has gone up in damage, thankfully. Here we are. We remain the double gore on our waist and legs. We grab the Sregios arms, the Zoshia chest, and that ever new lovely familiar Omega helmet. A Wex, a 3 and a 2 is just really, really good value in a really good slot for it to have that value. So this then is a very, very solid base. We already come in at the Adrenaline Rush 2. And again, remember, if you don't have this talisman, just swap it to Adrenaline Rush level 3, and you'll cap out your Adrenaline Rush and be doing essentially as much damage as having the talisman anyway. It really is that close. In any case, let's get this decorated up. And it'll look a little something like this. We finish off our weakness exploit. We have 3 agitator, 2 Adrenaline Rush, which is very tasty, a couple of counter-strike, as it's still a damage gain and the best use of these 2 slots, even if you don't think you get hit, you will, and then 1 burst slotted in. That extra divine blessing, it's still very nice to have. This then comes together to give us just that little bit more damage. Now, it is a Constitution 2 build, which means you have to eat a lovely mushroom black belt high meal yourself, and the reason it's sacrificing comfort for damage is we don't have any stamina surge. Now, technically, you could replace these counter-strike decorations with stamina surge, but at that point, you just might as well use the previous comfy build anyway. If you don't like the idea of having counter-strike here, but you still want max damage, you can swap them both for coalescence and pump your element a little bit if you really genuinely just don't get hit, essentially ever. Other than that, it all comes together very, very nicely, and it gives you some proper oomph, and again, just use a Adrenaline Rush level 3 talisman if indeed that's something you prefer, / you don't have a perfect attack boost 3, +1 agi or +1 adren or +1 wex talisman. So this, when we math it out, comes to a very, very respectable 4 bow, breaking that, 480 barrier of 481 effective raw, and of course the element that we're dishing out on top. That is really, really solid. It's a couple % higher than the previous best build, so hey, a gain is a gain, and here it is. Now we get to go to the exciting part, because bow in multiplayer with either another humans or your support hunters can do this. 2 gore with 2 omega. So what this gives us then is Omega Resonance. And the quick TLDR on this is at the start of the quest you will get either local or remote, and it will be red for attack or blue for affinity. When you get blue for affinity, if you're near your allies, you get plus 20% affinity, which is amazing from a 2 set. When it's red and you instead gain attack, you gain 10 raw for being away from your allies. Again, really hefty. Now again, this alternates every 90 seconds, you can't have both raw and affinity at once, but on average, this is worth a really decent chunk of damage. And because you're bow, you're comfortable playing close to the monster, i.e. near allies for the affinity buff, and you're also comfortable playing a bit further away, i.e. away from allies for the raw buff. You're actually well positioned to take advantage of this more than other weapons. And because of that, well, this set, when you do have other hunters around you, or not around you, depending on which resonance you're on, makes for a really effective new way to bow. So if I get this decorated up, we end up looking like this. Your full weakness exploit, your full counter-strike, your antivirus, of course, that we still need, a couple ranks of agitator, though I would rather swap one rank of agitator from my talisman to another adrenaline rush, as per usual. We've got that burst in there, that little divine blessing. It is a constitution 2 build, so eat for your mushroom black belt high meal, and then you've got 1-3-2 slot. If you want max damage, put a coalescence. If you want some comfort, put a stamina surge. You can also swap any and all of the counter-strike for stamina surge too if you prefer, but this is where it's at. So again, just to really kind of make it clear, when you're with your allies, when you have other hunters with you on the hunt, you'll have a big blue ring glowing around you. When that blue ring is there, stand near your friends and gain damage. It'll swap to a big red ring. When that's there, stand away from your friends and gain damage. When we allow for that average uptime, and that's 90% on affinity and about 60% on attack, and I put it into the old set calculator, well, it comes out at a really impressive 490 EFR. Sadly, of course, this doesn't work in solo, which is why it's literally just a build for multiplayer, but in multiplayer, if you manage it just a little bit with your resonance, you're going to really see some solid results, and it's really fun to bow with it. That's what I was using on my Savage Omega kill that you've seen bits of footage of throughout this video, and it really works well. And you can manage it quite nicely by just having the pop-ups of it activated and not activated on the right of your screen. So yeah, something to consider, and something that bow at least has going for it. And there we have it then. That's the end of our new bow sets, Tor round title update 3. Omega is still a really fun fight for bow, and I hope we do just get a little bit more damage. We're supposed to get more weapon changes in title update 4, so let's keep an eye on them. But other than that, yeah, it remains just such a fun weapon, and hey, our sets have got better, and that's what matters. We'll see what Archtempered New Udra does, if anything, for a weapon that really doesn't want to be resenting. In any case, let me know how you're getting on, let me know if you're still a dedicated bower, and for now, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.